morning. I'm Peter Kokh, I'm conference chair, also editor of Moon Miners Manifesto, and president of the local chapter of the Reclamation Society. The topic this morning is a full spectrum menu of space-related entrepreneurial opportunities. Usually when we think of enterprise and space, for most people, they immediately think of small satellites and small rockets. And it's amazing, always been amazing to me that we are supposed to be a community of people with a very creative and very active imagination. And those are the only two opportunities we can think of. That's something. There's a lot more to space than hardware. We may need hardware to get there, but we're going to do something when we get there, and we're going to do everything there that we do here. And a lot of things that we do here, we're going to be doing a little differently there. The different occupations will be affected in different ways. Now, because that's so, it might be possible to start looking at what your occupation or hobby would be like in space under the circumstances, or on the moon or on Mars, under the circumstances that you're going to find there. And if you find that, well, gee, you're going to need different tools or different methods, maybe now's the time to start brainstorming them so that when we get there, we've got all those details worked out. And just maybe in the process, you're going to come across something new with a terrestrial application that you can make some money off of. That's what we call spin up rather than spin off. Brainstorming technologies or processes or whatever that we will need on the frontier for terrestrial applications now, so we can make money doing it. That way we can spend more time on it if you mind doing it. Rather than just wait till we get there and scratch our heads and have somebody have to do a multi-billion-dollar crash program, which is the way we do things now. I took some notes on this idea several months ago and haven't had any time to look at them since, so I don't have them in any particular order. So if you'll bear with me, I will just read through them and give you some idea of different ways people can prepare for the space frontier in an entrepreneurial way. Green engineering. You can have all the cheap access to space you want. If we don't know how to make biospheres out there to live in, nothing's going to happen. And some of the things we would do in the process of solving many biosphere problems may have applications here on Earth. May help in environmental problems, cleanups, and so on. So we need to design outposts and component modules in a way that they each contribute both to the total biomass and to the air, water, recycling, and quality maintenance, and so on. We need to know how we can put together small ecosystems of plants that will be self-sustainable. I'll be giving the talk later on about modular biospheres instead of trying to solve the problem in one big centralist form like Biosphere 2 did. It's too complex. How we can solve it wherever you have a point source of problem, and then put everything together and you can grow like the city grows. If you just build one big mega structure And solve the problem for that, there's no opportunity to grow. And as you grow, you upset the whole apple cart. We need human facts, so there's agriculture, biological engineering. It's an enormous opportunity for space. Human factors engineering. We're going to live in, like sardines in small capsules wherever we go, or we're going to find a way to get more psychological living space out of cramped quarters. There's room for architects to brainstorm modular architecture that we can make modules out of materials on hand, glass composites, or fiberglass reinforced ceramics, local alloys, and so on, so that we can have some elbow. Data mining. Somebody's going to be speaking at this conference on that. Her job, she's a computer specialist, and she'll look at all the reams of data we have from past missions and discover new things that nobody's noticed before. Don't have to fly a new mission. The data's already there. Somebody just has to mine it. It's a job for computer people. So her name is Ruth Ross. I think she'll be, you'll have to look in the program. She may be speaking Saturday or something, I'm not sure. People who are in marine architecture can do something. Especially seabed habitats is a strong analogy to what we're going to do in space. So if you get involved with something like that, you may be able to pioneer methods or ideas that would be useful in space. One of the things I did about 4 years ago was try to figure out, well, how, if you were a painter, artist, and it was too expensive to ship paints from Earth to the moon, what could you do? And I experimented with metal oxide powders, which can be processed through the soil. And the only known, instead of a solvent, the only known inorganic adhesive is sodium silicate, and produce some paintings. So that's a good thing. There's all sorts of things artists can do. One of the interesting possibilities for making things on the moon is glass composites. We need less capital equipment to make things. Glass composites would use fiberglass, make fiberglass out of a high melting point mix of materials, and then embed it in the glass matrix of lower melting point material. And we've done this in the laboratory, and the stuff turns out to be twice as strong as steel. And there seems to be every indication that we can fabricate with it the same way we fabricate with fiberglass reinforced plastics or resins. What could we do with that? We could make modules, car bodies, appliance cases, chassis, furniture, all sorts of things. It would seem to me there could be some Earth applications for that. So why is it just a laboratory curiosity for the last 10 years? Why isn't somebody looking at, hey, what use could this be here? Let's develop it, debug it, so when we get there, we're ready to go. And it's not just a laboratory idea. There are other possible composites or materials that could be made on the moon that haven't been explored much here simply because we haven't had the need to do it. Here we have wood and plastics and synthetics, a lot of things which we can't easily make on the moon because we don't have the elements necessary. So there's all sorts of building materials work to be done. We're very used to using an enormous amount of water in industry. Pioneer ways that use less water, use it all totally in the recycled process, or do totally without it. That might come in handy here, and it might make you some money. We certainly need to be able to do it there. Liquid airlocks is something we thought of for products. If you take a barometer, you have vacuum at the top, and air pressure down below, and a column of liquid above. Theoretically, on the moon, you could have a shaft from a habitat in which there's air filled with the liquid and open to space. And if you ran a conveyor to it, you could keep dumping products outside. It's hard to come up with the right liquid. Mercury's very heavy, very expensive, and we probably have to import it there, so that gets us nowhere. NaC, sodium potassium compound, which is liquid at room temperature, might be ideal if it weren't so corrosive and difficult to handle. Water is another problem, but anyway, something worth exploring. If we had something like that, we might be able to use it to get things in and out of clean rooms. Who knows? Exploring ultra-high altitude takeoff and land ability. So we know how to take off and land from platforms that are suspended by high balloons. This might have some use here. And in the process, we get a lot of experience on how to take off and land on Mars with the air is real thin. Developing radar that detects near-surface voids. Well, we actually have a workshop here which is addressing that. Tom Billings' workshop this afternoon. So we find longitudes on the moon. On the moon, you're not going to have all the spaceport infrastructure you have, gantries and everything else. Ships that go there are going to have to be self-unloading and self-loading and self-maintaining. That's something to explore. Teleoperation. If somebody got into working teleoperated machinery, which we could use on the moon so people wouldn't have to be exposed on the surface so much, even so we could do some preparation, site preparation from Earth, well, that stuff can be used here. We're already sending little robot probes into nuclear reactors and so on to do work. For a metallurgist, if that's your field, we have to come up with a whole new suite of alloys on the moon, because even though we have plenty of iron, magnesium, titanium, aluminum, we don't have all the alloy ingredients that we're used to using here. So we'll have to come up with a different family of alloys. Once it can be made easily. If you're an operations engineer, you might work on trying to find ways to design manufacturing processes or whatever kind of process so that you divide things into things that are energy intensive and those that are labor intensive. So we do the energy intensive things during the daytime, the day span, when there's plenty of solar power available, and switch over to manpower intensive energy light duties at night when we have less free energy available. The easy answer is to take a nuke, but you know that might not be a political possibility. The way things are going. If you're a plumber, right now we have what the same kind of plumbing system basically that they developed in Mohenjo-Daro, what's now Pakistan, 4,500 years ago. One drain takes everything, the cloaca. Why not develop separate drainage systems for separate kinds of wastes so you have much easier problem recycling? And while you couldn't retrofit systems like that in existing cities, you might be able to use them in new cities or new subdivisions. They're probably the best fabric to use on the moon would be cotton, because at least half the material in cotton is oxygen, which we can get from the moon. Everything else seems to be require more exotic materials. But cotton is a plant where there's an awful lot of waste biomass. And somebody about 80 miles north of here has worked on a biodigester that can take all waste biomass and produce a tofu-like product with only 2% waste. So he's doing something that he's doing it for profit here, but it's something that can have enormous significance on the frontier because it will allow us to do things in space agriculture that we couldn't afford to do otherwise. So there are lots of, and we have Arthur Daniels Midland making all sorts of things, soy products and so on, corn products. Somebody could make this out of waste biomass. Let's get into simpler things. You've seen things that just promote space. Go to a hobby store. How easy is it to find a kit model of the space station? Or a kit, or a modular kit where you can keep buying elements and make your own orbital city. You can't find anything like that. Why not? Somebody would buy it, and it would promote space. We don't have anybody doing that. There are 3 space murals that I know of. There's one in there, Earthrise. There's one is Saturn and its moons, and there's the Columbia in orbit. These are like 13 feet wide, 8 feet high, made out of 8 pieces of wallpaper. Why isn't there a hell of a lot more? Because nobody's doing it. Somebody could be making Mars and moon-based kits, build your own, design your own components. These are all things that promote space. They don't get into it real serious, but you're making money, and you're doing something for the effort. Virtual reality programs, exploring the moon and Mars, exploring longitudes on the moon, going down to the ice crust of Europa and exploring its ocean. The possibilities are endless. Role-playing games, which are a really big thing, why not do something more realistic of what roles in the space frontier? Bob Zubrin has come up with a very ingenious Mars calendar. Several people have tried their hands at Mars calendars, but I think Bob's is the most ingenious. And he'll be talking about that during the conference. But why not make actual calendars you can hang on the wall with the pictures and the Mars dates and the Earth dates underneath? I'd sell them. There's all sorts of little businesses that a person could get into, which one way or the other promote space or prepare for what we have to do when we get there. Greg Allison, here from Huntsville, started a foundry at the 93 ISDC in Huntsville. And the foundry is an intense business enterprise workshop which takes people that have got I've got an idea. We could do this. Maybe I could make money out of it. And he'll walk you through all the steps you need to make a business plan, to make a rational one, get rid of the crazy ideas, tell you where to find this kind of help, that kind of help, technical, financial, and so on. And he's going to be doing a 2-day foundry business workshop starting tomorrow on Sunday. So there are a lot of things to be done. We can look at all the science fiction, the media stuff. It's meet an alien every week, new alien species every week. Do all sorts of crazy things in space which can't be done. You know, bank this way and that way and everything. Sound effects and so on. Why isn't anybody putting out good, solid, science-based screenplays? I mean, as far as written stuff, most of the written stuff seems to be fantasy these days. There's hardly any good science fiction written. But if we had people with more, writing good stuff, maybe the public would have better ideas of what is realistic and what isn't. Right now, there's a lot of interest in space, but a lot of it is totally misinformed on what is and what isn't possible. I want to put out the challenge in my newsletter, Moonlighters Manifesto. You tell me your career and your hobby. Give me a little bit of time, and I'll find a way. We can put a hook or twist on it that will either promote space or help prepare for the space frontier. Space frontier is not going to come easy. We're having a hard time busting the doors wide open. As Rick Tomlinson, who was speaking tonight, said one time ago, NASA should open the door for space, not be the door. We don't want to just send proxies up there, astronaut heroes. We don't want to just be voyeurs of what's happening in space. We want to participate. We want to go there. There's lots of things that have to be done if that's going to become real. And there are a lot of people who remember the L5 colony ideas back in the mid-70s. They attracted a lot of people, these gigantic structures in space with their beautiful landscape interiors and so on. And they attracted a lot of people because they looked like very pleasant places to live. Actually, this real space frontier is not going to be a pleasant place to live. It's going to be a rugged place where we have to fight for every step of the way. And it's going to attract not the genteel, sophisticated people who want the very latest. If you want the very latest, you stay here. Just like 100 years ago, those who want the very latest stayed in Baltimore. They didn't go out west. You would go out west or you go into space because you've had it once here. You want to get your fingernails dirty. Pioneering a rough frontier, and you know that you're on the ground floor and that it's going to be better for those who follow you because you've had a share in helping. We don't have to wait till we get there to help pioneer the space frontier. There's a lot of things we can do right now in one field or another. So anybody who wants to talk to me about any ideas they have or talk to Greg, catch us through the conference and we'll be glad to talk to you. Thank you.